When I first jumped into Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar, I honestly thought making money would be a breeze. Just sell whatever I could, right? But it didn't take long for me to realize that not everything is worth the effort, and I ended up wasting hours on things that barely gave me any gold back. But after putting in over 100 hours, I finally figured out what actually makes gold fast, and which ones are really just for enjoyment. So in this video, I'll be sharing the tips I wish I knew from day one based on my gameplay. The best crops to grow each season, which items are worth processing or cooking, how freshness, quality, and trending items really work, what flowers are the most useful for honey, and what you should focus on at the bazaar. That way, you can save yourself the trial and error, earn gold faster, and spend more time enjoying the cozy parts of your first year. Let's start with something you've probably heard before, but I want to dig a little deeper into it. Processing and cooking your crops and forageables. If you're just starting out, two super easy ways to make money early are floral perfumes and bottled walnuts. You just forage the ingredients or materials, and they don't take long to process. About 2 to 3 hours for perfume and 30 minutes for walnuts. That's an easy 380 and 200 profit. And remember, the numbers you see in the windmill or recipe lists are just the base values. The actual selling price goes up depending on the quality of the item, if it's trending, how you decorate your stall, and even the cheer time bonus. We'll talk more about those later. Here's where it gets interesting. Bottled walnuts? You can craft them further into walnut juice, which sells for more. If you add ingredients through the Adapt Recipe option, you'll boost the quality, and that means an even higher price. In cooking, always make sure to check the total cost of ingredients first, and don't use golden items unless the recipe specifically calls for them. In early game, turnip and onion salads churn out a nice profit too. The best part is cooking is instant and won't cost you hours to make, freeing you up for other tasks. Another processed item to consider are pickled foods. All three windmills can process these. The difference is that they process different seasonal crops. You'll need vinegar, which you can make from rice at the red windmill. Since all pickled foods take the same time to process, I recommend using your more expensive single harvest crops if you're going that route. And don't forget about tea. Instead of just selling tea tins, you can brew them into tea. The math works out like this. Ingredients cost about 320, turning them into a tea tin nets around 500 profit, and brewing that tin into tea basically doubles the profit. And it sells even higher at the bazaar. Processing tea tins does take 4 to 5 hours, but brewing them into tea after that is instant. No wonder there's a whole chef decor series. Cooking in this game really does pay off. Just keep in mind that tea is trending for me right now, which is why the price here looks so high. We'll cover trends later, but teas are honestly my favorite crop-based item to sell. They bring in great profit, and if you grow tea leaves for the seasonal crop show, you can push their quality even higher. One thing to note, quality transfers to processed and cooked goods, but only up to 7 stars. Branded crops and byproducts don't carry their quality over. So if you're just going for profit, winning festivals up to silver rank is usually enough. After that, I'd shift focus to other crops. Another way to make your life easier is by focusing on the right crops each season. In spring, strawberries are super profitable, though you only get them for that season. I usually turn them into fruit yogurt, but strawberry juice works too. Turnips are another solid option early in the game. They're cheap, and you can turn them into salads or pickles. You can also start growing rice in spring to prepare vinegar to pickle, cook rice dishes, and even turn into mochi or rice flour for a quick profit. In summer, pumpkins are amazing. They have a high base value and are perfect for pickling. My personal favorites, though, are the fruit trees like bananas and lemons. They take time to grow, but once they start producing, they really pay off. Plus, you can process the fruits into seedlings to sell for extra profit. Come autumn, tea leaves are hands down the best. Turn them into tea tins, then into tea using the fruits you saved from summer and autumn. The profit potential is huge. For winter, honestly, I focus more on accessories, but if you still have autumn tea leaves left, it's worth keeping fruit trees like apples and lemons going. You can use them for tea or seedlings. Cabbage is another great option. It's high value and works really well for pickling. Please keep in mind that this is based on my experience, so if you've got your own favorite seasonal crops, I'd love to hear them in the comments. Let's talk about freshness, because it affects not just crops, but also processed goods and cooked dishes among other things. Items start at perfectly fresh, but their value drops the longer you hold on to them. At should be good yet, you lose 10% from the base value. At might be starting to go, it loses 20% value. Once it hits it'll go bad soon, that's a 60% value drop. And if it spoils completely or says it's rotten, you can't sell it at all, you can only turn it into fertilizer. Your current season also plays a role. In summer, freshness decays about 20% faster, while winter slows it down by about 50%. Alright, let's talk about quality, because the higher your item quality, the more gold you make. Here's the breakdown. Each star level gives you a boost to the base price. From 1 star up to 3.5 star, every half star adds around a 5% increase. By the time you hit 4 stars, that's already 40% more than base value. 4.5 star is 50% increase, and 5 star has 60% increase to the base price. Go beyond that, and it gets even better. 5.5 star, which has 80% increase. 6 star is 100% increase to the base price, that's double the price. 6.5 star is at 150% increase, and 7 star has 200% increase to the base price. And if you're lucky enough to have branded products, those are worth 3 times the price of its current quality compared to products with no brands. For example, a 5-star egg with no brand will sell at $144, but if it is branded, it will sell for $432. That's 3 times the price. Just keep in mind that branding doesn't carry over if you cook or process them, so if you want that bonus, sell the item as is. So, how do you raise quality? To go past 5 stars, you'll need to win the animal or crop shows. Bronze raises your cap to 6 stars, silver to 7 stars, and gold unlocks branding. If you're just starting, quality for animal byproducts comes down to bonding with your animals. The happier they are, the better the byproducts. For crops, you'll need to fertilize while they're growing. Same goes for trees. Once a tree is fully grown, fertilizer will only boost how many fruits it gives, not their quality. And the higher the quality of the fertilizer, the faster the quality increases. Now, here's where the nature sprites come in. They're the ones who control the quality of forageables, fish, honey, mushrooms, and even bugs. The higher their level, the higher the quality of those items. If you want to hit 7 stars, you'll need your sprite to reach level 50. Leveling them up is pretty straightforward, just give them items they like. For example, honey for the honey sprite, fish for the fish sprite, and so on. Each week, they also have 3 bonus items that give extra points, and these change every Sunday. So keep an eye out for easy wins, like when the forage sprite is asking for weeds or rocks. Here's a little tip. If rocks are a bonus item that week, you can actually buy an unlimited amount from Lloyd at the Bazaar. If you've got the funds, it's one of the fastest ways to raise the forage sprite level. And don't forget, gemstones count as forageables in this game. Accessories and gemstones are the most profitable things you can sell, so leveling up your forage sprite early can give you a huge advantage. Now for one of my favorite low-effort moneymakers, honey. It's what I call semi-passive income, easy to set up, and it keeps paying off. You unlock beekeeping through Arata once you hit Bazaar rank 3. All you do is place a flower in the flower bed during any season, even winter. Then wait about 3 clear days. No rain, typhoons, or blizzards. Your bees will give you honeycombs, which you can process at the blue windmill to make honey. There are 4 types of honey, depending on the flowers you use. Wild flowers and herbs like moondrop flowers or mint will give normal honeycombs. Regular grown flowers, like roses or pansies, will give invigorating honeycombs, the ones you can buy from Miguel. Expensive grown flowers, the ones you buy from Ronaldo at Bazaar rank 5, like sunflowers, will give mellow honeycombs. The great part is you only need to plant flowers once per season, and you can just swing by every few days to collect honeycombs. Plus, leveling up the honey sprite is one of the easiest ways to reach 7-star quality items. Just keep donating honey, especially when it lines up with their weekly bonus items, and you'll eventually snag that 200% price boost. Oh, and don't forget to pick up your seasonal flowers at the end of the season so they don't go to waste. You can still use them for gifts, crafting, or even bouquets, which sell for nice extra profit. Now let's talk about trends. Personally, I see trends as a fun way to add variety to my daily routine in the game. It keeps things from feeling too repetitive. But I personally don't focus on it too much. Here's why. Trending items get a 30% boost in price and a popularity bonus, which means customers will buy them up faster. Sounds great, right? But if the item itself isn't worth much to begin with, the boost doesn't actually make a huge difference. For example, let's say the trend is small spring fish. With the bonus, you'll sell it for 65 instead of 50. Sure, that's a little bump, but compare that to accessories, which are hands down some of the most profitable items you can sell, no matter what the trend is. Even the cheapest and very first accessory you can craft is worth around 2,000 at base price. Accessories are made using gemstones, and you can find those in ore nodes scattered around town, the mountains, and even the equestrian park. That's why you should keep upgrading your hatchet as early as possible. It improves your odds of finding gemstones. Later on, when you unlock Lloyd's stall at Bazaar rank 3, you'll also be able to buy gemstones from him, though they'll only be 0.5 star quality and limited in stock. Still, they're good options. And here's the kicker. You can actually increase the quality of accessories by using higher quality silver, copper, or gold. The only downside to making accessories, though, is that processing them takes time. But here's a trick you can use. Process one accessory alongside another in parallel, so I usually keep my blue windmill running non-stop. I know comparing small spring fish to accessories is a bit extreme, but you get the picture. Now, if you're hoping for a better trend lineup, you can reset trends by saving the day before the season changes. If you don't like the trend, just reload until you're happy. Personally, I'm not into save scumming, but if you don't mind it, go for it. If you do reload though, I'd suggest aiming for recipes, gemstones, or accessories trends because that's where you'll see the biggest profit. Just think, 30% added onto a 50,000 accessory? That's an extra 15,000 from a single sale. One thing to note, sadly, there's no trend stacking. So even if a turnip qualifies as both a white crop and a round crop, it'll only get 130% bonus, not 60%. Oh, and if you're new, you can check out which items are trending right here in the menu. And if any of these tips are making the game a little smoother for you, it would mean a lot if you gave this video a like. That way, I'll know my gameplay experience is actually helping you out too. Alright, let's talk about one of the most exciting parts of the game, making the most of your time at the bazaar. I touched on this in an earlier guide, but since so many of you asked for a deeper dive, here's the in-depth version based on my gameplay. Let's start with decor. You can get decor either by completing requests for villagers, or by buying them from Rebecca's stall, which unlocks pretty early at Bazaar rank 2. Decor gives you different bonuses, and honestly, they're pretty straightforward. They'll all help you earn more gold. Now, if you're someone who doesn't like spending too much on decor, I'd still recommend at least investing in price up counters whenever you can. Those give you some of the best returns. Another thing to keep in mind is the decor series bonus. Most decor belongs to a series, and if you collect enough pieces from the same series, you'll unlock extra effects. For example, I like running the windmill series because accessories fall under windmill goods, and accessories are a huge money maker. Here's how it works. With 3 windmill series decors, I gain extra happy energy whenever I sell windmill goods. At 5, I fill up the cheer gauge faster when selling them, and with 7 windmill decors, I get an additional price up bonus on windmill goods. So which series you choose really depends on what you plan to sell. If you're focusing on accessories like me, windmill series is the way to go. Now, let's talk about stock placement. Because yes, it can actually make your life a lot easier. If you're just starting your morning shift, it's smart to place your cheaper bulk items on top so you can quickly load your counters without digging around. You can even break big stacks into smaller ones so more customers can buy at the same time. Here's why that matters. The cheer gauge fills up faster based on the number of items sold, not the price. So don't worry if they're low-value items, just keep those sales moving. One of the absolute best bonuses at the Bazaar is Cheer Time's Quality Up effect from Ivy, the Forage Nature Sprite. We talked earlier about how much a higher quality increases your item's price. And Cheer Time builds on that by giving your items an extra bump in quality when it activates. You can see the cheer gauge at the top left of your screen. It fills as you sell items, and each time it maxes out, a different sprite will be able to trigger a bonus. The order changes every shift, but ideally, you want to hit Ivy's turn since that's the quality up bonus. Sometimes she's first, sometimes she's all the way at the end, so patience is key. Here's the strategy. During the morning shift, focus on selling bulk items to fill that gauge as fast as possible. Then, once you know Ivy's bonus can be triggered, or once all of the 5 nature sprites can, switch to your most expensive items. Put them on the counter, hit cheer time, and watch those bonuses stack. If you do it right, you can earn millions in just one Bazaar day. Please keep in mind that everything I've shared here is based on my gameplay. So, fast gold? Check. But what about everything else that can trip you up in your first year? Don't worry, I've got you. In the next video, I'll show you what I'd do differently if I had to start over in Grand Bazaar, so you can enjoy the cozy parts of the game without the headaches. Tap here and I'll see you there.